I'd say the underclassmen are a huge part of it. Obviously the largest number that we've had. There's certain positions, like there are every year, of strength. The receiver position is a deep group. There's a deep group of running backs. I'd say there's a deep group of defensive linemen that are different types of players. I think there's a lot of good football players that may not get drafted, which is the case every year because just from a sheer number standpoint. So, you factor in all those different situations, and you're going to evaluate the players the same way. It doesn't really affect the evaluation process. You maybe have to go back a little bit more on some of the underclassmen, who have declared, because there's a less of a body of work that's available. But ultimately, I think you just have to have a balance of players and realizing that different players are going to have different roles. I mean, there's no exact definitive formula. Say we need X, we need Y, we need Z. I think we look at it and say, okay, once we go through the board and do the evaluation and stack it positionally, say, okay, who's the best player for our team given what else is out there up on the board right now? And if a player comes along sooner rather than later, then great. If it takes them a little bit further, we understand that too. So ultimately, we're trying to find the best 53 that fit our team, so that ultimately in September, when we go out there and ready to play, we have that group of players. Really? I think this year is really no different. I think what we try to do is take each position and really try to know top to bottom as thoroughly as we can, as many players at that positions. I mean, historically, we spend a lot of time this time of the year, whether it's players that we bring to the stadium, that we work out on campus. So the process, I would say, is really no different this year than it is in years past. It's all with the idea of trying to gain as much information about that position group top to bottom, so then when you're sitting up there looking at X amount of players, you have a good baseline of information, and it's not, well, we haven't spent enough time. The answer isn't, I don't know, we haven't spent enough time with them. So look, we can't get everybody, but you try to identify and earmark X number of players, and then we try to get as much information as we can so that we're prepared in the event that we have to make a decision at some point along the way. Yeah, I think right now our focus is just on the draft and trying to improve our team. We go through, we'll go through the off-season program, once we have the players that are here. But look, I would say we're focused on the short term. Like I said, we just started the off-season program. We'll see how our players, where they are, physically once we get on the field, once we start practicing. So, I mean, right now, I think our focus is on the draft and just trying to improve our football team.
Well, that would be, would you, in terms of drafting a quarterback to succeed, Tom, would that be something you'd focus on now or more toward down the road?
I'd say we're focused on improving our football team in whatever capacity we can do it, and we'll always consider that.